behind you.
Oh. I was listening to a crummy podcast with my hands on my chin. Oh, I don't know how to tell Jack that the Padres won't win.
It's pretty easy.
Love and mercy, that's what you need tonight. Oh, the Ramblecast, that's what you need tonight. I actually messed up the last line.
It would have been your best one until you messed up the last one.
Yeah, I know, and you admitted to it. If you don't admit to it, then
We wouldn't
I always
know.
admit to it. Yeah.
That's true.
What song is that? I'm not.
You don't know that one?
It's Beach Boys, right?
It's Brian Wilson.
Yeah.
I knew that it was a Brian Wilson because I was like,
Yeah.
"There's no way that you're not starting this thing off with a Brian Wilson."
I knew it was going to be a Brian Wilson song.
Yeah. Fans would be disappointed if it wasn't at this point.
Yeah, so his first solo record is 1988 called Brian Wilson, and that's the first track is Love and Mercy.
Oh, okay.
You know, it sucks now is because we're losing people. I mean, at my age, we're losing people that, that I grew up with listening to and stuff. It's just, that's, of course you have the people that die young, but you have Brian Wilson. Damn, there's another one down the drain. It just makes me feel a little older.
Right.
What I'm trying to say.
Well, that's what always kind of blew me away. Like, I remember, we've had this conversation where, like, how you think about age, and it constantly changes as you get older, how you think about age. And when I was 20 and, even a little bit before 20, I would always try to see all the artists from the 60s and 70s that I could, because you never know when that'll be the last show they ever do. And I remember when I'd seen Paul McCartney in 93, but I was pretty young back then. But like when I saw him again in 2002, he was only, I don't think he had actually turned 60 yet. He was 59. And I remember going like, well, I better see him because, he's getting old.
Yeah, he's getting up. He's getting up there in age.
And, now I think about it, it's like, he wasn't really that old. I mean, he is, but he wasn't that. But now, he's like 80. Well, he's the same age as Brian Wilson. So it's
damn
sad. But that's how I, up until this last few years, when I would see somebody like Paul Simon or even Electric Light Orchestra, who I saw, a few months back. Now I'm finally I can tell that they are getting old because they're all in their 80s and their voice is cracking, and like they had to have that old man voice when they talk, and you're like, it's sad in a way, like when you see it, because you don't want people like that to go.
It'd be nice if we did find the fountain of youth and you could just be the age you want to be,
Well, they made a movie.
Well, I think most people always think of themselves as in their 30s somewhere. Like I think that's like it's just a cosmic thing. Like you always think that you're like somewhere.
I don't anymore.
Well, there's I've seen it a few times.
I mean, like in your head though. Like your body wears down, but it's like in your head.
I think I used to, because I was still doing, like in my 50s, I was still doing stuff. I was still playing hockey. I was still doing, but now that my body is just saying, all right, you need to stop.
Right.
Because, it's constant. It's constant. It's 24 hours of pain. And it's just, I know I'm old.
Well, 12 hours of that is grandchildren.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think George Harrison said that in the anthology videos about aging. He says, 20 to whatever he was at the time, in his 50s, he's like, it'll go like that. He goes, it's, like a blink of the eye. He goes, and really it's not the soul that ages. He goes, that's why, people in their 90s still feel like they're young. He goes, it's really just the body, that ages, and it's sad in a way.
It does happen like that, because I know when I was still reffing, still playing hockey. It was like 56, maybe. I'm trying to figure out how long it's been, but I was in San Diego playing catch with the football. I was having Jay throw it back because my arm is toast, but then I turned a certain way, and I got, oh my God, it was and it's never stopped. So I had one little tweak, and it's like Okay, now I'm old.
All right.
I can barely walk. Even though people say on Twitter, on TikTok, because they don't see my face, I have a young voice. So.
Oh, okay.
That's what they say. I don't know. I just go with it.
I had this minor segue. I had this dream last night where I was in high school, and I'm trying to get to all my classes or whatever. And in my head, at some point, I'm like, oh, like Denise will be texting me or something, Like
you had a phone in it.
Yeah, I had a phone. So it was like, I think I probably was just thinking about my son going to high school next. It's like he'll be a sophomore, and I was just probably thinking about that somehow. But I'm trying to find my classes. I basically have that kind of like dream where you're kind of back in, and I'm in the art wing, ironically, at some point, in the high school, and there's like spray paint and graffiti. And I walk into this classroom, and the students say to me, like, "Are you a teacher here?" And I was like, even in my fucking dreams, I'm old.
Yeah.
Like the students were, and I was like, and that brought me out of the dream, because it was like, oh yeah, like I'm a teacher. I'm, like, it was a weird time warp.
I sometimes have hair dreams where I'd comb in my hair and get it all perfect and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. I gotta get a haircut. And then I wake up, I go, oh fuck, I don't have any hair.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, it's been
serious. I mean, serious hair dreams. I mean,
Hair Dreams is a good band name, by the way. So
there we go.
Yeah.
Hair dreams.
I mean,
I got bit by your hair dreams.
Didn't mean to say a word. Go ahead.
Well, I'll say it's been 26 years since I've played any kind of sports regularly, like high school football or baseball. But I still will have those dreams. Like you're late for practice, or you got to go out, because you've done so many times repetitively.
Yeah.
And then you wake up and you're like, oh, that was forever ago.
Yeah.
Well, this was the second night in a row that I had dreams where I was unprepared. Like I was
so there's something going on in your life.
I was a half an hour behind. Like, I guess maybe I feel like I'm unprepared, or I'm not doing. I don't know. Like I'm not prepared. Maybe in my mind.
I have a
by
dream.
The way, my cat before the show has been so bad, like straight up toddler.
Bad pussy.
And
that could be a band name.
Or maybe these are just songs from the band.
Well, that could be the title of the episode.
Yeah.
Bad pussy.
I have dreams. This one guy who was a friend of mine, who we're no longer friends, and he did me wrong. I mean, he just did me wrong, and I never had closure with it. I never got this. I never got to
things. I know. I mean, similar. There's people.
And I have dreams about it all the time. That we're back at we're back where we worked, and I want to kick his ass, and I'm just like going, and I was like, and we I always wake up all mad. And I have at least once a week some kind of dream about this guy.
Wow.
And I go, oh, God, I just want to.
What if in the dream you did something different as opposed to, like, but I understand it's hard to let go of that hate.
Yeah, I can't stand him. I mean, it was bad, in my opinion. So
yeah. I had a friend in high school, and he wasn't like in my first tier friends, like your immediate, but second tier for
first tier.
Yeah. He's off the bench friend.
Yeah. He's the guy that like, yeah, I'd hang out with you. You go, yeah, come along. But he was never like my go-to call, a guy I'm gonna call the phone,
Yeah.
But my high school girlfriend and I had like a little, like a month period where we just kind of like, okay.
You were on a break.
Yeah, we were on a break. And
you went with a copy girl.
And it was literally like the next day. Like we broke up like on a Monday or something like that, and then on the Thursday practice for sports, like he had asked her out, and it was one of those things in high school. I was really furious about it because it's like, dude, like we're not really broke up. We're just kind of like mad at each other.
We're on a break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and you're stubborn, so you're not giving in.
Right. Well, like but at the time, I was super mad about it, and me and him basically did not talk after that, probably for the rest of our lives, now that I think about it. But in my mind now, I kind of go, well, I can't blame him for him shooting his shot when he could, you know.
Did he complete the shot?
I think she went out on a date with him. In my memory of like one date, and that was it. You know, like a couple of days later, and then that was it. Okay. But it was when I was like, well.
Did you guys ever get back to?
Oh yeah, we got back. Oh, the friends? No, the girlfriend.
No, not the friend. The girlfriend. I'm saying.
Yeah, the girlfriend. Yeah,
the friend's trash.
Because my memory of this was the fall of.
That guy's dead somewhere
in there.
Nick's property buried.
I think he is. I think he called Dan. Dan's extermination.
Yeah.
Because we got back together and we dated for the rest of that school year into the summer, and then of course I went to college and she was still in school, so high school. So it was. You know,
I'm glad you said high school. I was thinking maybe she was in elementary school.
Elementary school?
Yeah, you know. Well, she got held back. She got held back a lot. Really she got held back like 10 years. She one of the smartest girls.
Yeah. Well, it was just because she didn't want to.
Yeah.
There's this. Did you hear about this Ohio guy that was like 25 or 23 and like signed up for and went to high school? He got caught, you know. But yeah, this was recent.
So he signed up.
I did see that.
Did he ever graduate high school, or he just?
No, he just went back, and then he was like really good in the sports and stuff like that. Yeah.
And then he finally got caught.
Yeah. I don't know all the details.
Well, I know that a woman did that once. She was like in her 30s.
Jeez.
And she went back to school, and she was, I think, a cheerleader or something like that. It's like, why would you ever want to go back to high school?
Drew Barrymore made a movie about that.
Yeah.
True, I forgot.
Basically, these kids are watching these movies and they're like, life is a rom-com.
I could go get kissed.
I've got a theme song in my head.
Never been kissed, right?
Never Been Kissed is the movie, yeah.
I still like it. Not another teen movie. Ever seen that movie with? I like when that old lady. She's like 90,
right?
She goes, "I've never been kissed." She's pretending to be a high school student. That movie's great. If you haven't seen it, it's hilarious.
Well, it was such a spoof on every single thing that was happening in that period because you had the spoof on Varsity Blues on. Yeah. She's out of control, but the other one that's like
She's All That.
She's All That. That's it. Yeah, She's All That. There were so many because that's where we got the years back we were making fun of because that's where you get Chris Evans going. I mean, look at her. She's hideous. I mean, she's wearing overalls and has a ponytail.
My oldest daughter always went to school with a ponytail, and when she saw that, I go, "Yep." Because she would sit there and go like this with her. I'd be driving her to school, and she'd be always. I'd be like going. And she'd be I go, "It's fine. Your ponytail is fine. Your ponytail is fine." I said, but anyway, it is what it is. She looks back at now and laughs at it because she's a teacher now. So she
that's opposite of what Matt was saying. Another young lady I went to high school with, she was 2 years younger than me.
That is opposite of me.
I think it is opposite. Yeah, but she's maybe 5'1". And has always looked like a kid. And she got a master's in mathematics and became a teacher. And she went to, I know her first school that they kind of assign you to so you can get your experience. Like this happened to her like first day where it's like she walked into her classroom and like all the kids thought she was a classmate, you know, and then
that can be tough as a teacher.
Yeah.
If they think that they're of the same age as you, they can kind of feel like they can get away with stuff or like, well, if I'm just their friend, you know, and it's like, no.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that if you have somebody that's older than you, sometimes they can kind of have, well, what do you know? What can you teach me? So they kind of have a more. Now, most adults that I've taught that are older than me are always coming in with kind of an open mind anyway. But I have had their curmudgeonly, like, what do you know? You know, and I'm just
like if I came in your class, it'd be like,
yeah, like, what can you teach me about painting with?
Shut up, whippersnapper! I thought there was nude ladies here. What the hell's going on here?
I don't want to paint a still life.
Bastard.
So, does the still life have boobs?
Yeah, I came here for the boobs. I was told in my generation we had
a Picasso boob.
Oh, that would be a hilarious strip club, though, is that you actually, it was like, okay, well, in order to be in here, you actually have to just paint the ladies dancing. Right. Like, if you're not painting them,
okay, you gotta stay longer on the pole. You're moving. I'm not getting my shot. I mean, come on. Hey, you with the dollar, get the dollar out of there. Get the dollar. I know I'm dating myself. Dollars. I know it's not dollars.
There's no tipping of dollars, but the paintings though they can be sold and.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they don't. I don't think I don't know of a place anymore where $1 is acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if you're tipping $1, then you're getting you're getting the night shift.
$2.
You're getting the graveyard shift.
You need the $2 bill now. Graveyard shift.
Have you ever been in a strip club where they do the transfer from time to graveyard? No, I'm just saying it's just like.
Oh yeah, when they shipped me, yeah.
I was like, okay, I can leave.
The only time I've only been to 5, I think, strip clubs in my life. Though there's one in particular that I'd never seen this happen before, to where when you walk in, the ladies would amongst themselves like pick the guys, like this guy's my guy for tonight. Which it shouldn't be up to them. It should be up to me who I want, But what would happen?
You're the whale.
Yeah, you're the whale. And so what you would do, like I could be sitting with us 3, sitting, at a table or a bench or whatnot, and they would come up and put a towel next to you, which was like their color, and that's how the girls would know, like, this girl has claimed this guy.
Oh,
and this
particular, it's an interesting way of.
Well, it could be really combative though, because
sure.
What happened was I wasn't interested at all in the girl that had claimed me, and I kept wondering why she was hanging around me. Like, why are you sitting here next to me this whole time?
Go date my ex-friend.
Well, I kept saying no to her for everything, and you think that she would just move on, but she didn't. And then another girl had walked by that I was interested in, and then that one got pissed, and they started yelling at each other.
Wow!
And it was just like, well, okay, you've ruined this night. It was a special night. I was going to help one of you go to college.
Yeah, I never felt comfortable in them, but I'd go with the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
No, I'm saying the last time
I went, it's a waste of money.
The last time I went was Jay's. We were in Vegas, his bachelor party in Vegas, and
I went on a bachelor party. Those are always kind of like the classic, like, hey, let's go, blah blah blah. And but this guy, I was his best man too, and what have you. But we went to this one club, and the girl got him up on stage because they found out it was his bachelor night or whatever.
Oh, nice.
And she pantsed him, and it was one of those, like, the pants came down and so did the underwear.
Was he in the pool? Was there shrinkage?
I fortunately was not looking when this happened. So, but anyway, it was not a good night, because then she also proceeded to, like, kind of brandish him.
Really?
Yeah, like kind of like, smack him, or what have you on the back, leaving a mark.
Yeah.
And his wife was not his soon-to-be wife of a marriage that lasted less than a year.
Well, I wonder
it lasted less than most Hollywood marriages, I will say.
Wow.
It was not so.
Did it have something to do with that, or was it just they were not made it?
I think there's probably other aspects there, but yes, I don't want to. It's not like they're listening to me, but anyway, they it was probably like just one more thing in that camp of, like, this ship isn't going to make it across the Atlantic.
Yeah, it's
as it set sail.
They boarded the Titanic.
I went to another bachelor party where the stripper, the girl,
we don't need these lifeboats. No. Let's leave these ashore.
She had this thing she called bush beer, and she laid over the guy, and it wasn't the groom.
We've really gone after dark.
I know, but she She sits with the guy and she pours the beer down her stomach and it rolls down to, and then he's got to drink it. Now, this poor guy that volunteered to do it, because we all said, I ain't doing that. I'm married. There's no way I'm doing that. But he almost.
By the way, I thought this is where this was going, and I can't believe it went there.
Okay. But he was
got my popcorn.
It's like he was being waterboarded. I mean, he was like choking.
Oh God!
I go, and I think, hey, he's choking. He's choking. So it's usually the person's able to drink it. I go, I don't know how she's pouring it, and the beer's going down. I'm like, he's like,
wow.
And I was like going, damn. I go, that's how do you explain that one in heaven? All right, God, I volunteered. Okay,
no.
I knew she was naked, but I didn't think the beer thing would be so bad.
Somewhat related to this, Jack. We just finished watching Ghosts. We've been like
you finally finished Ghosts. Okay,
so I'm just imagining that person like in the afterlife and what their ghost power would actually be as it relates to this.
Well, you got to remember that. I guess they would be walking around without a shirt. Would they have beer all sprayed up?
I guess so. Yeah, I think
have, like, what's that on your face? Probably beer. Yeah, and
are you trying to grow a mustache? That was a one for Sherry there too in the chat. Thanks. So it was a double callback for.
But anyway, I just remember that going. God,
Nick, you have to watch Ghosts at some point. If you have Paramount Plus, or if you ever a Ghost,
you'll like it at first.
Just Ghost or Ghosts?
Ghosts.
Okay.
Yeah. Ghost. And it's funny. So
we were like, I'm just saying, it's just things. And there was like 30 of us standing around this poor guy, and we're like going, and this guy was like the nicest guy in the world. I used to call him. Well, I won't say
Shrimpy.
No, he is prematurely gray.
Bush Light.
Oh no, I used to call him Phil Donahue because he was gray hair.
Huh. That's a long nickname.
Phil Donahue.
It just
there was a dealer in Vegas I used to call Phil Donahue too. Is the caller there? Is the caller there? He laughed. I don't know. I was drunk. It didn't matter.
The only thing I've seen at a strip club similar to that was my very first experience at a strip club. I don't even think I was even 18 yet. And I walked in. And
he lived a fast and hard life.
Well,
I was 18 and my friend I didn't talk to again.
Last week's show, Nick admitted to how young he was drinking beer. So go ahead, Gary.
Oh, I thought I'd done that several times. But But
there's a theme. There's a theme I'm trying to thread.
This strip club, I don't think it's in business anymore in Memphis. But Memphis, even to this day, is kind of a no-law kind of city. It's like you can do pretty much whatever you want. And we went to this strip club, and I was still fairly naive, I guess, when it came to sexuality, just everything, and they did what I guess they called it the champagne trick. And what they would do is like this lady that was up on stage they would just get a bottle of cheap champagne, pop the cork, but before the pressure came out, they would jam it somewhere, and then let the bottle empty or mostly empty. And then when they pulled it out, all the pressure would just everywhere.
Wow.
And spray the entire audience.
What?
Yeah, and I remember going,
that can't be healthy.
It can't be healthy, no. But I remember watching it going,
I'm not a gynecologist.
I just learned something. I just learned something I did not know could happen.
When I was younger, we used to play poker every Friday.
I wonder if they had a urinary tract infection.
Well, it's alcohol, but yeah.
Sure.
It's self-cleaning. Yeah.
Yeah. So
we used to play poker every Friday. It was like Dale and some other friends, Warren Pappy.
That's the same person. That's like saying Peter Parker.
Well, for people that don't know Dale.
Okay, Dale.
We were high school nerds and we played poker every Friday.
Just the three of you.
I won a lifetime pass to the Body Shop, which is now, what would they call it? Pure Platinum or something like that. Mm. But I have it. I still have it. Oh. But I never used it. But I won it because someone put it in the pot. I go, and I won the pot. I go, nope, can't have it back. But I never used it.
You can take it to them now. I'm like, hey, no, this is a collector's item.
Yeah. That was 44 years ago.
Wow.
Honey, I want to cash in. What do you want to cash in?
Yeah.
Commercial
The
break.
ladies are now in their 70s.
Right.
And you go to give them $1 and their teeth fall out. It's like, my dentures.
I'm imagining that. Now I'm imagining the stripper that Nick just talked about in a nursing home. Like, I'm going to show everybody a trick.
You got a champagne bottle?
All right. We should take a commercial.
Well, wait, that's Sprite.
Okay.
The zest will clean it off there. So. Yeah. So
what was your stripper name? And that's the
this was
Diamond or
my favorite
Seltzer Squirter. Something like that.
I always think every time I hear someone say something about a stripper's name, I always think of the very beginning of Wedding Crashers with Dwight Yoakam and Rebecca Ramoye. It's like the opening scene because like they're kind of lawyers for divorce lawyers is what they do for a living, and I forget how it starts, but he's like, me and my new girlfriend, she's like, or fiance or whatever. He's like, whatever. Her name is Chastity. She is white. And it.
You know who Rebecca De Mornay's dad is, don't you?
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. Wally George. If you probably don't know that guy, but go on YouTube. Anyone listening right now, stop what you're doing. Put pause on here.
Okay.
Put pause on here and look up Wally George. Oh my God! I mean, you talk about right wing crazy person.
Oh, okay. That's
Wally George. He had a talk show. It was like remember Morton Downey.
Yes. He died in October of 2003.
Wally George.
Yep. He did. Yep.
But remember not Morton Downey. What's the guy who he used to scream at people.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Motor mouth. He had the big
the big mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, he was similar to Wally George, but Wally George was like just an angry guy, white hair, angry guy, and he's like going, "Okay, Rebecca, you're the father of Rebecca De Mornay, and I'm not seeing it.
That is weird.
I got to see the mom because there's no way she can't. She's from you. There's no. I'm not trying to be nice here, but he was just an asshole. Basically,
I'm looking up Rebecca De Mornay too, so.
Well, she was, obviously in risky business, and she was, very attractive, and Wally George is not.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I wish we had older people in the chat because you'd watch the show.
How do I work this YouTube?
What's a podcast?
Well, he was when cable was first coming around.
Yeah,
he would be on. I used to watch Maury and not Maury. Who's the guy? Jerry Springer. I used to watch all these shows because he goes, "Why do you watch that?" I go, "I like people fighting. I don't know why."
Jerry.
I like people beating. I like people beating the crap out of each other. As long as it's not me,
I'm okay. Italian joke in there somewhere, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, Maury. I think one of my ex coworkers over a decade ago used to constantly send me those. You are not the daddy. Father. It's like God.
I remember it was Judge Jude. No, it was another lady. It was a paternity test, and the guy didn't know he wasn't the father. And it turns out, and he loved the daughter and all this stuff. And the daughter's there, and the woman's going, yes, I told you not to. And she goes, why are you celebrating?
Right.
He loved that child like it was his own daughter. Right. He thought it was his daughter. He loved that child. Now, me personally, I would still care for the child. I mean, I wouldn't, but it's just the way it is. But I go, and I was like, what are you doing?
It's sad because I see all kinds of videos like that on either X or
The Talk,
or any of those where it's like,
he's not on the Talk.
The amount of ignorance that some people have, because like it's exactly what you're talking about, Jack. Where the woman knew it was not the guy, was not the father, but he had helped raise this kid for like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure exactly how he found out, but he found, and he left her when he realized it wasn't his kid, and then she was trying to sue him for
child support.
For child support.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not even his kid,
Yeah.
Well, Sherry says, I lived in Italy during Jerry Springer. It was mortifying that Italians would look at that and think that that's what Americans were like.
To be fair, Sherry, they were all in the mob. Okay, come on. I've watched The Godfather.
That's what's nuts about a lot of countries, though, is that what we export out is, if they've never been to America, that's what they think. Like, even every country I've been to, like when I was in China in 2005, they would reference these movies to me and think that's what America was like, and I'm like, no, I was like, that's a movie. It's not anything, and they're like, oh, okay, and it's also stereotypical about some character of people in the United States, depending on their skin color or their religion, people will treat them badly because of how they're portrayed in movies. I think that was especially back in when TV first came out, and it was one-sided. Yeah.
Native Americans were played by Spock and, and other people. I was watching Gunsmoke. He played a Native American. The guy Martin Landau, he played an American. On Big Valley, he played a Hispanic. He played someone from Mexico.
Right. Not seeing it.
Yeah, but they use makeup, and it's just like it's how they portrayed Mexicans back. It's just how Hollywood was. I mean, just
because I think it's McClintock, the old John Wayne.
John Wayne, yeah.
Where have like one true Native American, and the rest of them are just white people with paint on them.
Yeah.
And then the one Native American, he only has like one line, which is like, where's the whiskey? And that's it. You're like, yeah, this is all.
Yeah, that's just it's not right, but it's just the way Hollywood was, and that's the way we were brought up. I remember watching Cowboys and Indians, and nobody wanted to be the Indians when I was growing up. You wanted to be the cowboy,
of course.
Who always won? The Cowboys, except
there was Custer. That one time.
Custer.
Yeah.
That's why on MASH he goes, it's I forget what Hawkeye says the line. He goes, that's the same army that told Custer, one last stand, you can go home. I forget what it was about, but he was criticizing the army, and it's like one time when they said they had I don't remember 5 o'clock Charlie, where he's dropping every time at 5 o'clock he tries to drop a bomb on the ammo supply that's off to the distance of the hospital, and Frank of course wants to shoot him down, so they bring General Clayton in, and then they go, why don't we just get rid of the thing? Is, oh, this is classic, we learned this from the Germans. He goes, great, we're taking advice from the losers.
Right.
That's MASH. The first few years was just great television. Anyway,
well, you've often said that, even though it's 11 seasons, like the first 4 or like the
first 3.
First 3 are great.
I thought Jackson,
like really. But then I remember when I rewatched MASH, I just remember thinking, wow, like those 3 seasons, like there's a bit of a shift that of course happens after the end of the 3rd season, and I think that's why
you lose Trapper and Henry. They both. Actors leave.
So it feels, it's like that's like the core classic almost,
Okay.
And I mean,
it's straight. It's serious, but it's more comedy driven. And then they kind of, as the time goes on, it becomes more serious, which they have some great episodes. I mean, there's an episode where this guy doesn't realize he's dead, and the only one can see him is Klinger. And Klinger's got like a high fever. He's the only one that can see this guy.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, and he's going on and on and on. And eventually he realizes he's dying, and the guy goes, oh, come this way. And as he's walking, it's American soldiers, Chinese soldiers, Korean soldiers. They're all walking the same. So once they die, they go to the same place. Basically saying, how stupid war is.
Right.
But I'm like going, God, that's a great episode.
Yeah.
I mean, they had some, but they weren't as funny. But it was a great episode.
I had once heard a metaphor for kind of death or heaven or the afterlife where, and I kind of think about it a lot, but that really all religions are just different sides of this mountain, and they're all kind of going to the same point, but one side sees it their way, and they don't know that the other side is desert, and one side's like, nah, it's all foresty over here, and they don't, if they try to talk to each other at this base level, they're just going to argue about what the terrain is and which way to go. But the
start a war over it.
Yeah, but the higher and higher up you go to enlightenment and to the afterlife or wherever you're headed, the more similarities are actually seen, and the more you're kind of coming together, a convergence. But people like to stay kind of down in the, saying, well, no, this is the right path and this is the right path. And it's like, you're all going to the same
yeah, and that's what I just was, wow. I remember watching it. I was like, probably 16 or 17, maybe. I can't remember what year it was, but I was like going, wow. I mean, it really hit me. I was like going, okay, war sucks. I mean, you don't really need to have.
What is it good for?
Yeah, absolutely nothing. And I love war movies. I mean,
who doesn't?
I love them, but it's like you sit there and go. I've said 1,000 times. Someone said, "Have you ever asked your ghost any questions?" No, but I saw something the other day. If they would stop long enough, I'm not afraid of them. Mm-hmm. I'll just say this: I'm not afraid of the ghosts that are haunting our house. I mean,
maybe you're the ghost.
I thought about that. Maybe I'm just dead and I don't know it. I haven't followed that path there. But what's their ghost? But like I said, I told you the last time I something grabbed me on my shoulder. Mm-hmm. I wasn't quite asleep yet, and I went, "Oh, that wasn't Cindy." I go,
well, clearly that's her ghost power. They can grab you right when you went to sleep.
I've seen
what a cool creepy power.
And like I said, I've had where I'm sitting there, I'm watching, Cindy's asleep, and she goes to bed earlier than I do, and I'm watching like a baseball game or something like that. And I have the melatonin over by me, and she sometimes comes at night and takes it, to sleep. And I went, it's right there. And I go, it wasn't her. It was just like this shadow of I can't see the faces. I mean, it's not like it's just,
right.
It's,
yeah.
And people think I'm crazy, but everyone in this house, other than Jay, I say, but now Jay believes it because he was at some hotel that was haunted, and he kept getting.
Now Jay's a believer. The man who has loved Ghostbusters his whole life and couldn't believe his own father that there was a ghost in the house now had an experience and is a little bit more okay.
I told you,
Jay, whenever you're ready, let's come on and talk about your ghost experience.
I told you I brawled with a ghost. The first time I was brawling with a ghost in my daughter's bedroom over there.
So you picked a fight. That's why they.
I don't know. I was sleeping, and all of a sudden I'm like banging up against the wall. Dell was still living with us, and I'm like bam, 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 and so and everyone came running in. I go, what? I go, I was fighting someone, and I'm like, and they go, what? I go, I don't know. I was fighting. I was literally fighting someone because we had just moved in. And so I was like, the reason I was sleeping there was because I was worried that we had a hurricane warning and that we have this huge pine tree here. I was worried the pine tree would even fell, it would crush the whole house. But I told my daughter.
So were you asleep during this?
I was asleep, and then
but you woke up fighting.
I eventually woke up, and everyone's like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" We heard you screaming. I go, "I know, I was fighting someone. And I, like I said, I'm like, boom, I'm not giving up. Oh, Sherry says, I think.
Yeah, I don't ever remember.
I thought I did. Maybe it was a Married Man show or something like that.
I've never heard it. No.
But I was like, I was all frazzled.
Got a whole book of your experiences. I'm like Jay from Ghost. By the way, another plug for Ghost though. Really fun show. We just finished 4 seasons. It was really bingeable. So there's a lot of callbacks that, like, as you binge watch it, it's kind of fun how those things line up. And I know that they've been renewed for 5 and 6. I don't know if that's it. I kind of would like them to kind of just keep it to 6 seasons. Yeah, like I don't want it to go on. I think shows are kind of stronger if they can have, like, a solid arc. But yeah, I mean, I know you were a little kind of like, I don't know about the end.
It was okay. It was a peak. It was a roller coaster.
Right. Season. I liked the callback though. There's something that happens with Jay, the main character, that it's like, oh, they explain that, they bring that back. And my son is already like, well, I think the Puritan woman's going to have to help Jay with this.
That's a good thing.
And I was like, damn, look at you, Smokey.
That is. I didn't think about that, but he's probably right.
Yeah, and the others. So yeah. Anyway, fun show though.
But I still every time I'm watching, I'm like, okay, now why is Pete not been sucked off yet? What did Pete ever do?
That's what happens when they leave. They get sucked off, and every time they say it, it is hilarious.
Hilarious, because you're like, the first time you hear it, you go, did he say that?
Yeah, and they just continue to say. And then when, like, somebody goes to hell, they said they're going down on them.
They're going down on them.
And then there's another guy. There's another ghost this season who he's able to, because they have barriers. There's ghost barriers. They can't just all travel. But there's this one ghost that can. Pete can, but then there's another ghost we see this 4th season, I think, where he's attached to someone, and he attaches himself to another person, and he calls it jerking off.
I like when
it's hilarious how they slip some of this.
What's the Native American's name?
Sass.
Yeah, he was a virgin for 500 years.
Yeah,
he never had, and that's been an ongoing joke. And he finally finds someone. But I like when he goes, Thor goes, "Be rough with her. They like you when you."
That scene is so good.
He takes her and throws her on the bed. She bounces off and falls through the.
That scene is so good. That was hilarious. It's fun. It's been fun watching it with my kids, and
it's a really good show. I mean, there's some episodes. I wish they would. I wish they could only do like 10 episodes a season. I think it would be better.
But as someone who likes to put binge watch or kind of it's kind of nice to have a classic, network show where you've got a solid 20 episodes that you can put on in the background.
Yeah, but, it's fun.
That I know last episode I was doting on it, and I forgot about Abbott, but I think Abbott Elementary and Ghost, those are like probably my two of this.
Cindy watched Abbott. I've never watched it.
Really? You've never watched Abbott? It's got heart.
She watched it without me and started. I'm one of those people. You start without me, I'm not going to come back. Yeah. I told you I watch a lot of clips of the Rookie on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I told her, I said, "Hey, I'm thinking about catching up on the Rookie and then watching it with you." She goes, "Please don't do that." She goes, "Why?" I go, "Why?" She goes, "It's one of those shows where you're going to make fun of it, and I enjoy it. I don't want to hate it, and you're going to pick it apart."
She likes that Nathan Fillion, huh?
Yeah, well, she likes Nathan Fillion, but I said, "Hey, you want to watch Firefly?" She goes, "No, I won't like it." but she likes the Rookie. She goes, "Look, it's just one of those shows you're going to find fault with it." I go, "All right, fine."
So she really doesn't want to watch TV with me.
No, she'd hate watching TV with you. But we watch Ghost together. There's some shows we watch together, but I can't get her to watch Poker Face still because she loved the first episode, the first season, and the first 3 episodes this season. She goes, "I don't like it. The main character's not in as much." I go, maybe they're trying to set something different. I go, but I can't get her to go back and watch it.
The next show that we've been also watching, kind of because we knew Ghost was coming to an end, is the show on Netflix. I don't know why it doesn't have higher ratings on IMDb. We've enjoyed it. It's got Rob Lowe, and it's called Unstable. I think the first episode, if you watch it, I don't feel like the first episode is the strongest episode.
Unstable?
It's called Unstable, and it's on Netflix.
When does he find time to do all these shows?
Never heard of it.
Well, and here, let me share my screen here so I can show you the image here of.
He's the busiest guy in the world,
right? So it's got a large cast. A lot of different characters kind of come in and out. It's a bit of a father-son story. So
his son's in it, right?
His son is in it, yes, and it's similar to kind of like Schitt's Creek in the fact that it is a father-son kind of actor writing kind of duo there.
I think his younger son's in it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's him in that scene, and so is Fred Armisen. He's kind of one of the side characters, but no, but the women that are in the show that are in there's a lab essentially, and they are some of my favorite characters in the show, actually. So they haven't even been on
Unstable. Okay.
Yeah, Unstable. So
I like Rob Lowe, so I'll check that out.
Yeah, and by the way, again, first episode, I feel it's a bit slow, and it doesn't draw you into his character.
Is it a comedy?
It is a comedy.
Okay.
So it is a comedy, and it's like a 30-minute, 20-minute comedy.
He's like the new Kevin Bacon. I mean, he's like
I think they're 10-episode seasons too, so you'll like that.
He hosts a game show. He's on 911, right? Something like that.
Yeah, and
I said, "Damn, the guy acts a lot."
Yeah,
I mean, I guess
gotta pay those. Yeah, so
Matt Tree says sorry. I'm late.
Oh well,
it's not my fault. I was never with you.
Yeah, you know who else is late is Chris. I mean, where is that guy at?
Yeah, so, well, he's at.
I binged watched. I got a couple of things to watch when I have time, but the series I did watch, the one season so far that's been released, it might just be one and done. Is the John Hamm show, Friends and Neighbors?
Was that good?
Oh yeah,
I gave it like a 7.8 out of 10.
Cindy and I were talking about watching it.
Yeah, like it's definitely worth a watch.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the first half of the season better than the second half.
Okay.
It just because it takes a little bit of a turn. Because the premise of it, and you learn all this in the first few minutes, is just that he is a hedge fund kind of guy, works for like a really wealthy firm. He lives in like a really high end part of town. Like all of his neighbors are multimillionaires, and all this. And he gets fired from his job, and he tries to get another job, but he has like a 2-year non-compete clause, so he's basically fucked for 2 years. And
well, if you fire him, then take away the clause.
No, basically, in that kind of industry, you can't, because basically like your client list, because that's what you've done your whole career, is built up your client list, so he can't use it. Like he's basically.
I thought if they fired you though, that it voids the contract.
I don't know. Anyway, that's just what the show is.
All right, kills the episode. Okay,
yeah. So, but what he ends up doing, he's at a party, and he's just kind of strolling through one of his neighbors' homes, and he opens up a drawer, and there's just rolls and rolls of money. So
he was at my house.
So he takes one roll, sticks it in his pocket, and that's it. And then he starts thinking like, "Fuck!" Like. None of these people are going to miss any of this stuff because they've got so much shit that they can't even keep track of it.
Right.
So he starts kind of robbing their homes.
Yeah.
And I really like that part of the season. What he's going to go steal and like how he's kind of doing it. And then it takes a little bit of a twist around like episode 5 or 6.
Is his wife with him and stealing stuff, or is it his girlfriend?
It's later on he teams up with one of the maids.
Oh, maids, okay.
Yeah. But and from that point on, it's good. It's still good. It's just not what I'd kind of gotten used to in the show. But
right.
It's still good.
It's not Mad Men good.
It's not. No, of course, nowhere near. But that was good.
I like John Hamm. I mean, he's good at comedy and of course drama.
Yeah, I liked the Fletch movie that he did. I thought that was fun.
All right, I
forgot.
Yeah.
I never saw that.
Yeah, I downloaded it on my phone.
Was it the Chevy Chase Fletch type thing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's called Fletch Lives.
Huh.
Yeah. It's on one of the streamers. I downloaded it.
I never saw that.
I downloaded it when I went to Paris last year, I think. I had long flights, so I was like, I might watch this.
Huh, I should watch that.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It's a crime kind of thing, and it's got John Hamm.
River.
Speaking of Mad Men, though, I've been watching the other is Elizabeth Mitchell and Handmaid's Tale. I've never watched a Handmaid's Tale, and I've always been curious. I know that they just
Elizabeth Mitchell.
Or Elizabeth.
Oh no,
it's
Elizabeth something. Yeah,
no, Elizabeth. West Wing.
No,
the
Mad Men.
Yeah, the one. Yeah,
Elizabeth.
Come on, Matt! You just showed up.
No, I just was watching it.
Priest.
Matt Treese. This is why we needed you here. So you were right.
Warren? No, Elizabeth.
No,
I can't.
Elizabeth
Moss. There you go, Moss. Thank you,
go. Elizabeth Moss. I knew it was an Elizabeth.
She's a little moldy, but that's okay.
She's amazing, though.
She's an amazing actress.
Yeah, like I liked she was in a detective kind of.
Yeah, she was
I really enjoyed that
River.
Yeah,
Lake, something Lake.
It was really good.
It was really good show. It was something by the lake.
Something.
It was Lake. I know.
Come on, Matt Treese. This is why we need you here. This is the only reason. Yes, Sherry is right. They were fine with recall until you got here. Now they're pretending they don't know.
No, I wish I was pretending.
It's just we're that many drinks in.
Something by the lake. Yeah, I had my cherry Coke Zero. If you haven't had, Nick, have you had this?
Nope.
It is outstanding.
Outstanding.
Top of the lake. So I was close. I knew it was lake. Is that the show you're thinking of? She's excellent in everything she does. Anyway, we just remember her name.
Treese, you would totally guess Nick wrong on this one. He is a Brian Wilson guy. He wasn't going to do Sly. So
I was going to do Sly, and then Brian died. And then
okay.
I did Sly though. If you remember,
did Sly just die?
Yeah, he died 4 or 5 days ago.
Yeah. Oh, okay, because I was watching something. That's why I was.
Sly Lives also, sadly now is it was really relevant for that year that it's been out or whatever.
It's like Farrah Fawcett died the same day Michael Jackson died.
Right.
I cared more about Farrah Fawcett. That's just me. She meant a lot.
If you remember, I did do Everyday People by Sly 6 months ago or whenever it was. I don't know, but.
Top of the lake, though.
Top of the lake. That's a really good show.
And in Handmaid's Tale, though, amazing.
What season are you on? Because
I'm just on season 1. I just started the show.
Okay,
I've always heard season 1 is really, really good.
I got halfway through season 2, and it's so depressing. I can't.
It is fucking depressing. It is.
No, it's not depressing yet. Season 2 really gets it's like I can't watch this anymore. I feel like I want to cry. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I don't know how long I'll make it, but I'm enjoying the ride. Well, I need a chaser though. It's like drinking vodka while watching planes hit the towers.
They do
need a chaser.
They do say it gets more uplifting as the seasons go on, but I got so depressed.
Wow! Sherry said it was too much, and she watched all of Walking Dead. So
yeah. So
going back to Brian Wilson, I had just read, not sure where, but it's a story I didn't know, which I thought was pretty interesting. And it was Alice Cooper was telling it, and it said it was the 1974 Grammys, and he was sitting at a table with John Lennon, and he noticed Brian Wilson.
Name dropper.
Well, he was just like, I noticed that Brian, and this was not really a good year for Brian. And he said, hey, I noticed that Brian was standing kind of off to the side, just looking at us. But I knew, Alice Cooper was saying, I knew Brian. And he said, Brian eventually walked over to me and whispered in my ear, he said, can you introduce me to John Lennon? And and I'm sitting there going, how have you not met John Lennon after all these years? How have you not met John? And so he just kind of went, okay, well, Brian Wilson, this is John Lennon. John Lennon.
Was he not with the Beach Boys when they were together? Didn't the Beatles hook up with the Beach Boys?
I don't think they met all of them. Like they met some of them at different times because Mike Love was in. He went to India, but not all of the Beach Boys.
And then Paul visited. the Smile sessions in late '66.
Okay.
But I kind of was, so the story keeps going, so after they introduced, John got up, was very polite and said, "Hey, Brian, it's really great to meet you. I'm a big fan of Pet Sounds. Like, it's probably the greatest album of all time." And then Brian said, "Thank you," and walked off. He goes, maybe 30 minutes to an hour later, I see Brian standing off to the side again. And another person at the table was Bernie Taupin, who was Elton John's lyricist. And so Brian walked up to Bernie Taupin, and then in the next few minutes, Bernie Taupin gets up and he goes, "John Lennon, this is Brian Wilson. Brian Wilson, this is John Lennon." And Brian, the same conversation, John gets up, says the exact same thing to him. Brian walks off. And then everyone's looking at John at this point, and John goes, "I've met him over a dozen times." He goes, "But we're all fighting our own demons." And
yeah.
And
I was gonna say, I thought they met before.
Yeah, but it was just like, wow, like it's just a story I'd never had heard, which was
I think Brian's dad did a number on him.
Oh, absolutely, all of them, yeah.
Yeah, he was an ass. He was.
But apparently, that's how you have to be to your musical children in order to create stuff like the Jackson 5.
Jackson 5, and I don't know if the Osmonds did that. I don't know if the Osmonds.
Well, I think it's those people tend to be the tragic people, because it's something. It's kind of like in the movie Amadeus.
Amadeus,
where he says, "God gave me the talent to understand every single thing about this, but not the talent to create it." And I think that's where you get someone like Brian Wilson's dad and Tiger Woods' dad, and like all these people who are so smart and they know exactly what they're doing.
Serena, Serena Williams,
right?
Yes,
and they just push that person because they want their child to be them. They want, and it's like it's a blessing and a curse.
Well, you have to check your ego at the door though too, and a lot of people can't do that. I mean, there's a movie, Fear Strikes Out, with Jimmy Pearsall. He played for the Red Sox. His dad was on him. The only problem is they had who's the guy? He was in he was pretending. What's that? Psycho. That actor. What's his name? Great actor. Anyway, he plays, but obviously he wasn't an athlete. So when they're showing him play, the real Jimmy Pearsall was on Letterman. He said, "Yeah, he was a great actor, but I won't say the rest because it's very offensive." Anthony Perkins, thank you. Yeah. But his dad pushed him and pushed him and pushed him. He had a breakdown on the field where he just lost it. Because his dad put so much pressure on him. It was never good enough. And it's a great movie if you want. It's called Fear Strikes Out if you haven't seen it. But it's just how sometimes parents just don't know when to, like you said, you're saying, Nick, they want to be, they want to be that person, but they don't have the talent, and they just take it and drive their kids to, it's, you got to back off. But there's some parents that don't do that. They like to and Brian Wilson's dad was an absolute ass.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Going back to movies and shows. So I saw two movies. One I told you guys last week I was going to go see, which was the Wes Anderson new film, Nation Scheme.
Mm-hmm. Is it good?
Yes and no. I had said years back, when Grand Budapest came out, that I can't see Wes Anderson topping that one because I felt that was his steady climb of a better and better and better, and that was like the peak of his theme. He's always had since the very beginning. It's mine or Wes Anderson. Yeah, exactly. Like Matt Tree said that. Like every film he's done, all the way to Grand Budapest Hotel, he's always had a very human theme to all of his films. Like Rushmore is kind of like a nemesis. You know, there are two guys, one too young, one too old, in love with the same woman, and it works because you can imagine yourself being either one of those people. You know, Royal Tenenbaums, you have a dysfunctional family and different elements that aren't even blood, but they all want to be part of that family. You know, Darjeeling Limited, same thing, dysfunctional family. And you can relate to a lot of these films because you can see that. And since then, I said that I think almost he knew it as well after Grand Budapest Hotel that he couldn't top that. And so he's done 3 movies since that have all been very different, and they're not around that human theme anymore. And I appreciate him for trying something different, but he just still hasn't quite found it yet. You know, I think this one is probably of the 3 he did, which is like Atomic City or something like that.
Asteroid City,
French Dispatch, and then the Phoenician Scheme. I think of the 3, the Phoenician Scheme is probably the better of the 3 because it actually has some good humor in it. It has some action that you don't expect from a Wes Anderson film. But in the end, you still kind of go, what were you trying to do, like, with this film? Like, you know, I don't, because I felt he was trying to show how either a country or an independent person who has a foot in an industry, how other governments or how other foreign can try to disrail you. I felt that was kind of the overall message he was trying to show. And then from that point on, he's traveling around trying to get people to invest in this idea of this fictitious country. And it doesn't really work. You know, it ending is kind of weird. And like I said, you're just kind of left with, okay, well, what were you trying to do here?
You think the problem with his movies is he has a certain style and it maybe needs to.
Well, the style's always been the same. I mean,
I know that's what I'm saying. Is maybe he needs to. It's like Woody Allen. Woody Allen had a certain.
Well, I like his style. I like his steady cam. I like his pans. I like even the weird 50s style that he has, and the colors and sets, and how he mismatches so many different things within the shots. I love Wes. I think Wes Anderson and I forget his name. There's a handful of directors I really admire in this period, and he's one of them. And like I said, I liked it. It's a good 7.8 out of 10, you know, but it's not something I don't think I would watch it more than probably 3 or 4 times ever.
I'm wondering who those other directors are, but let's take a commercial break.
Actually, I did not know that, Matt, that the nun was Kate Winslet's daughter. That makes sense now that you say that, and I can picture her face.
So is that also Leonardo DiCaprio?
By the way, for the podcast listeners, he's talking to Matt Triest in the
yes.
chat. You didn't miss something that I said, but Triest in the chat said, you know, his daughter, the nun, is Kate Winslet's daughter.
I did not know. Is she that old? I guess she's in her 40s.
Well, when you think about it, Kate Winslet's probably near 50 now.
That's right. Wow.
Wild.
Wild and wacky.
I mean, yeah, it's great cast. You know, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with the film. Like, the acting is great, the cast is great. You know, it's just not. It just doesn't quite.
It doesn't coalesce.
Yeah, it doesn't coalesce.
That's a good. They showed in the previews when I was watching.
I like to throw that out.
The part with the elevator where the guy he takes the cyanide or something like that and dies, and we all laughed. I don't know. I can't remember the whole thing, but I remember it was funny.
The other film I watched, which I do recommend, for anyone out there that's a fan of the Predator films.
Oh yeah.
So if you have not seen on Hulu, if you've not seen Prey, that came out a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, Prey is an excellent film. It's probably the second best Predator film aside from the original.
That's Arnold Schwarzenegger, right?
The original is Arnold Schwarzenegger, yes. And so Prey came out like I want to say 3 years ago. And it's like 1807 or something like that, and it's all it's about a Cheyenne girl. I think she's Cheyenne, but you know, Middle America, Native American, and how she takes on the Predator, and that was a out of nowhere success. And I felt that he must have been listening to the fan feedback from that film of like, we would love for you to continue making movies like this. Can you make one about a samurai? Can you make one about a Viking? Can you make one about any time period and how these warrior classes take on the Predator? And I imagine what he thought was, well, I could do that, but I'm going to be making the same movie over and over again. Like, that would get old. So what he did with this is a cartoon. It's an hour and a half. And it's three animated stories. Sorry, anime. Correct, Matt. And
it makes it sound more,
more fancy. It's animation, yes. But
this isn't your Hanna-Barbera cartoon, people.
it is a good animation style, but you have 3 stories, and they all converge at the end. But you have a Viking story first, then a samurai story second, and then you have a World War II pilot in the third one. And I liked it. It's actually pretty good.
Okay. I saw it on Hulu or Disney Plus. I got them connected there, and
that's called Predator: Killer of Killers.
Yeah, it's an interesting type, Killer of Killers. Like I was like, oh,
Killer of Killers.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is leading up to the movie. There's another Predator movie coming out at the end of this year.
King of Killers.
It's called Predator Badlands, and I imagine this cartoon is leading into that movie.
In
some way.
Okay. Do I need to watch Prey before I watch Killer of Killers?
No.
Okay. Cool. Because I was Treast in the chat says the guy who played the Predator in Prey went to my college. Oh, cool.
But you will like Prey if you've never seen.
It's funny you mentioned Predator because I was watching. I think it's TikTok or YouTube, and they talk about movies and stuff like that. And the guy Sonny Landham, is in Predator. I had to look it up because I didn't know his name. I guess he had to have He had to have a bodyguard for him.
Oh yeah. Because he was nuts. He's a drunk.
To protect him from the rest of the cast because he was crazy.
Yeah, he's crazy.
He was angry, always crazy, angry, would go out, So to keep him from hurting other cast members, they had a big guy to protect him from hurting the cast members because he was a little out there. So anyway, a little bit of trivia there for you. He always plays a crazy type guy anyway. So I guess he's not acting.
Well, yeah. I think he actually might be dead.
Let's see. I've got his IDBM up here.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I know him from,
he died August 17th, 2017, in Lexington, Kentucky, of congestive heart failure.
Yeah. The only thing I know him from though is 48 Hours and Predator.
Yeah, 48 Hours is what I remember him from.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's got a long list of things he was in. He was in. Let's see, in Mental Scars, Billy Lone Bear. 2090, Fatal Choice. It was an episode of The Fall Guy.
Sounds like a Versus to me.
Yeah, there you go. The Warrior. Oh, that's right. He was in he played a cop in Warriors? Huh. Misbehaving, Bloodbath. That got 3.8 stars.
A lot of B-list films there.
Yeah.
He was in Happy Days. He played a French cook. Okay.
Of course.
That's why Ron Howard left the show because he was afraid.
Oddly, they put makeup on his face. We got to make you look more French. We're putting.
No, he just had an attitude.
Oh, okay. Fine.
Anyway, I just when you said that, I had to go look the guy up because I remember them. I like those things where 20 facts you didn't know about such and such.
Right, Eddie too.
Yeah, especially when they're true.
Yeah, a lot of times they're not true, and you go.
Yeah, those get annoying.
You're just making that up.
Yeah.
Or when they say, "Here's 10 things you need to know," and there's only 9 of them, because they want what they want. You just go, "What happened to the 10th one?" Just so because it builds it.
Here's the 13 worst cities in your area.
Yeah,
I bet you're one of them.
Raleigh. Yeah, okay, I can see that.
San Diego.
Yeah, I can see that.
The next thing I'm going to be watching, though, I'd already put it in my queue to watch, but my sister finished it and said she really liked it. It's a Netflix show called Department Q.
I've heard of that.
Has really good reviews.
Okay.
Department Q.
I've been watching Dark Winds.
It's got Matthew Goodall.
I love season 1. Season 2 was okay.
This season 3, I'm on. I just finished episode 5.
Okay.
And it's Dark Winds is really
taking the
really
dark.
It's really gone.
How dark are the winds?
It's dark. It's dark. I mean, if the end of season 2, you know what happens, right?
Yeah.
Well, that carries over to it's
dark. It's got, I don't have AMC Plus, so I have to wait, for it to be released on Netflix.
We got HBO, and it was part of the hub thing, so we were able to get
nice.
that. And I said, oh, Dark Winds. I gotta watch Dark Winds, and I go, wow. And I don't know if I'm I don't like some of the direction it's going because, the characters. You like the characters, and I'm like going, I don't know, because two of the characters were in Longmire, and I don't know if you guys ever saw Longmire.
I have not.
It's an excellent show.
Longmire though.
Longmire. I could say. I always said Longmire.
No, that's the porn version that you watch.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a Longmire.
I'm Longmire. Hey, there's the beef you've been looking for. Anyway, God. But Longmire, it's a great. People always said it was a great show, and I finally binged it, and it was really, it has Kate. What's her name? Starbucks in it. And,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the ending. Kind of was kind of gross, but that's just me. I didn't.
She just posted. Jack probably won't care, but she just posted an image yesterday of her doing voiceover work. Oh. And she said, "Can't tell you what I'm doing, but you're going to be excited." And so I assume some Star Wars cartoon.
She's got a podcast.
Yeah. I'm wondering too, like if it's I'm just speculating because sometimes they make this stuff years out, but we just got Tales of the Underworld. Mm-hmm. I could see them doing like Tales of the Mandalore or something like that, and having 3 episodes about her, and then 3 episodes about
anybody.
Because she's in Mandalorian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is, and she plays Bo-Katan.
So she was in the
Clone Wars
and in
animated
Rebels.
series. Yeah,
she's one of those actresses that everyone has a podcast now.
Yeah.
Well, if it's interesting, and you've done enough body of work, it works. Some people, there's some podcasts people don't even listen to.
Yeah, I know which one that is. Sports talk with 3 stupid guys, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, we had a lot of listeners with that one.
Well, I won't get into sports talk, but last week we were recording when Halliburton made this amazing shot at the very end.
Didn't they do some things in Iraq, Halliburton?
No, different Halliburton.
Okay, all right.
Oh, okay. I was just like, Halliburton even still a company anymore?
So, NBA playoffs or NBA finals,
right,
I should say. The NBA finals, Pacers versus the Thunder, and it's fun, when your team's in it because everyone around is all like wearing their shit and hey, yeah, let's ball, so it's kind of fun.
Bandwagon fat, yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool when the whole
tied one. It's one game apiece, right? No,
it's 2-1.
2-1. Okay.
Yeah, it's 2-1 now. So, and then game 4 will be in Indianapolis.
It'd be cool because neither team has won an NBA championship.
No, neither team has won. But the Oklahoma the game one ender, which I was recording with you guys, and I was distracted when you guys were talking about porn. Because I was watching the highlights of him making that last shot
with 0.3 seconds left.
With 0.3 seconds left, and it's the game winner. I mean,
it was swish too.
It just shut that hole, and they came back.
We can tell you're watching something. You're like,
it was. Yeah, I know. It was really cool. So,
basketball can be fun, but it's like I don't have a team, so anymore. I watch college basketball, but. It's just I was like, look, I feel bad because I always feel bad for Seattle because as a fan who's lost teams from their city, Seattle Supersonics were loved in Seattle, and the owner just said, "Fuck it, I'm going to sell the team to Oklahoma." And it's like, well, why did Seattle get screwed? Seattle Supersonics were one of the better teams at that time in the NBA, and the owner just said, "I just don't get that. I just don't get where people go. I go, fuck it, we're going to sell it to Oklahoma."
They had much cooler outfits than the Thunder.
I guess. I mean, it's just but it's just like they won a championship, and I think they won a championship with Jack Sikma. But it just sucks. But Indiana, all those years with Reggie Miller, they could never get by Michael Jordan or Charles Barkley.
I know.
So they could never get by him. Yeah,
Did the Pacers never win a championship?
No, they didn't. No. They made it to the finals, but never won.
Never won it with Reggie Miller.
Never won it with Reggie. Yeah,
because didn't Bird coach them for a little while?
Bird coached them for a while. Yeah,
I thought he got one with him. Okay.
No, they did well, but
they got really far. I think it was the year my grandfather died. Actually, it's weird. I remember they went.
You had that center Deflon Shrimp. What was his name? He was 7'4" guy from Sweden or something like that. Germany, maybe.
And then the ABA they won championships, but not in the NBA. So that's the thing too, is Pacer, they predate some of that.
Again, there's some teams you can't get by, and unfortunately, it was Detroit was good back then, and also the Bulls. The Bulls
were
just weren't going to get by Michael. Yeah. It's like the Chargers. They couldn't get by Peyton Manning. Not Peyton Manning. They always beat Peyton Manning. Tom Brady, the other guy. They couldn't get by Tom Brady. They just couldn't get by him. It just sucks, man.
It does suck.
But anyway, sorry to derail, but
that's okay.
It's been exciting, just as far as the state and just kind of all of the hoopla around it. So
I know the NHL playoffs, you got Edmonton versus Florida, and I know Aurelio, who's from Canada, he was saying something about watching. I go, let's hope Florida wins to keep the cup in America. That's what I said. I mean, he wasn't happy about it, but I thought it was funny because Russ used to always.
Yeah,
you can keep Brett because he was a Montreal Canadiens fan, and I go, well, that's great, but the cup's in America. At least you can visit the cup in America.
Is it Matt? Is it you? Yes, you and me that watch Resident Alien, right?
Yeah.
Oilers are up 4-3, by the way.
Yeah.
What?
Edmonton Oilers are up.
Oh, okay.
4-3.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I noticed on my Hulu that season 4, episode 1 is now available for.
It's dropped. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
I didn't either. Like I just I saw no advertisement for the show, and then also I was like, oh look,
Yeah, no, that's great. I need something again to kind of chase the Handmaid's Tale. I want to see it through. I'm excited that it's like, okay, I've never seen that show. I know it's brutal. I know it's a dark dystopian kind of thing, and
I want to go back and watch it again, but it got so depressing. I mean, I was literally crying going to bed. I can't take it anymore.
I think when I was watching Battlestar Galactica, I remember the season they came back, and it was just like I missed that show. It was season 4.5, and when 4.5 came back, there's a character that commits suicide, and it's it just hits you sideways.
I think you can say it's been long enough.
So, but I mean,
I said it.
Yeah, okay. But it's just one of those moments when you're watching the show, you're like, fuck.
And the way they did it,
and
because you think she's happy,
and
it's like, okay, she's happy, everything's going good, and I go,
no, man, that really messed with me.
Because Apollo did her a disservice. I mean, I just like, God, wow.
Who was it?
D.
Yeah, right. Oh, right. Yeah.
And I loved her character. And
it was a good character.
Oh man, Apollo. She should have stayed with. Well, of course he died too.
So my secret fan wish that I always wanted to happen, or of course, it's past. They can't make this shit now. But as they did the the movie where we got to see the Cylons and what the Cylons were doing that whole time, and that was cool.
Razor's
but I wouldn't
Razor's
Edge.
Razor.
Oh, Razor. Okay.
No, not Razor's Edge. Razor.
It's just Razor.
It's called the Razor.
It's just Razor.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because you watch Razor after season 2, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Razor came later though.
Well, Razor was what's his name? Edward James Olmos.
Because there was a ship that they
almost directed.
The Plan. That's what I'm thinking.
The Plan. Yeah. You have Razor, The Plan, and Blood and Chrome.
Yeah, Razor introduces the Pegasus, right? Doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Razor's after season 2. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then The Plan is after the whole show's over with.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
So my secret fan wish, I realize this will never come true, but I wanted there to be a Starbuck Ship of Lights celestial explanation. I wanted us to get to see what happens to Starbuck after the Maelstrom, after she goes into it. There are old BSG, the OG BSG episodes after Starbuck dies and is basically like reborn. I think, I know Edward James Olmos was like, I never want to look and talk to a lizard or a Persian in a costume. He didn't want any of that alien bullshit.
Right.
But you could.
He didn't want to be Captain Kirk.
But you could take Starbuck and Katie Sackhoff into this kind of like otherworldly realm or what have you. Have her deal with like some memory flashbacks, story, and then have her come back as this angel character.
But could they have done it to satisfy the fans? Because I know people are mixed on that about the whole Starbuck.
Oh, sure, people were mixed about it, but I liked that there was a bit of mystery there with that.
I always like a little. I always like,
and I realized that if we explained it all, it wouldn't be fun. But exactly. I do think that you could have had a standalone. However you shake it down, I want the Maelstrom Storm episode where we kind of lose her, and then she comes back all of a sudden. I want something there. And again, we don't have to have the whole explanation. Like, I don't need nuts and bolts, like the whole thing, but have a Starbuck centered episode, and you can even call it like I know now it's too late, but it would have been cool. They could have called it like the Death of Starbuck. They could have called it anything with Starbuck in the name and sold that as a standalone movie. So, I mean, opportunity's gone, obviously, but I thought it was a missed opportunity personally.
Yeah,
her character was so strong.
Yeah, very strong character. I do a rewatch of Battlestar Galactica about every 3 years.
Yeah.
I go, time to watch Battlestar Galactica. And it's funny. Always when I get to the end, I go, I don't want to end. I don't want to end. It's one of those things that it's stupid because it's not like when I was a kid when it ended. Okay, it was done.
Right.
You maybe you could watch it on.
I think it's just. I mean, this
reruns,
is this is like what we want. Why we enjoy rewatching shows, though, is that it's like it's the companionship with these characters. The actors, everybody, the crew, everybody that's involved in a show that gets the tone right, and you live with these characters, whether it's in a sci-fi or a hospital or a comedy.
Yeah, I love watching shows that I've seen 100 times because I know I like them. And it's like, I'll take a chance on a new show. I'll take a chance on a new show. And it's like, I hate this show. Well, like you said, I love the characters, and that's what.
Right. Well, I mean, to me, anytime you watch anything the first time through, you're really just trying to understand the plot and like what is going on. And there's a good show gets better. Same as a movie. Like the more you watch it, the better it gets because there's always like something an actor did or some. Yeah. Connection that you didn't put together the first time, and it kind of going what you were talking about, Matt, with like leaving things open or leaving a mystery. A good art, not just a movie, any good art, it lasts because you can debate it. You can say like, this is how I interpret that. This is how you interpret that, and you're not right. Neither one of you are right. Neither one of you are wrong. It's just like, it is what it is. Because, like the one that in more modern times, the ending of Inception, there's so many people debate that at the top, and I'm like, I know what I think it it represents, but I've heard so many other different people talk about it. They're like,
that's one fucked up movie.
Oh, I love Inception. It's a good one.
No, I liked it, but it was just like one of those things I go, huh? You had to figure out yourself.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's why I've always loved Stanley Kubrick films, is because all of his are open like that. Just like, what did you take away from that? What's the message that you got from it?
Didn't he do Full Metal Jacket?
Yep.
I pretty much got the ending of that one.
Well, it was a war picture, but yeah.
That Vietnam was a mess.
Yeah, it was a mess.
It was.
I mean, it's not my favorite of his. I mean, I like Full Metal Jacket. I tend to like Dr. Strangelove and Barry Lyndon the most.
Yeah,
but that's
I haven't seen Dr. Strangelove in 50 years.
Did you see?
That was 60s, right? That was 60s. Dr. Strangelove.
It's 1964.
God. Okay. So yeah, it's been at least 50 years since I've seen that movie.
It's great. I love dark comedies though, and that one I laugh my ass
Peter
off.
Peter Sellers in it.
Peter Sellers, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
George C.
see
Scott.
that?
Yeah, George C. Scott.
That random factoid about I just saw it recently that Eyes Wide Shut, Kubrick wanted Woody
Harrelson.
No,
Woody
Allen.
Woody Allen.
Yeah, to play the part of the Tom Cruise character.
Woody Allen?
I'm pretty sure.
I think Cameron Diaz was too old for him.
Let me Google this shit and just get to the bottom of it. So
Woody Allen, I don't see that.
Maybe it was Woody Harrelson, and I'm just.
Yeah, it's got to be Woody Harrelson, not Woody Allen.
That would have been a very different movie.
I know, right?
I like Eyes Wide Shut. It's not, once again, it's not my favorite.
I'm not wrong in reading this. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to present my screen here to you guys of what the article that I just pulled up here. The story of how Stanley Kubrick wanted Woody Allen for Eyes Wide Shut.
Woody Allen for Eyes Wide Shut. Wow.
So,
but how does that work with? It's Cameron Diaz, right?
No.
I'm thinking
Kidman.
Nicole Kidman. I'm thinking of what's a car? He's in a car.
Vanilla Sky.
Vanilla Sky. Thank you.
Okay, here it says, the most intriguing of these revelations is that Tom Cruise was not Kubrick's first choice for the starring role, with the filmmaker initially intending for a far different tone entirely.
Yeah.
Quote, in the 70s, Kubrick fantasized about casting an actor in a dream story who would have a comedian's resilience. Writes before revealing that the filmmaker imagined Steve Martin or Woody Allen. So I think it's from the perspective in the leading role. So I think it's from the perspective that when he was originally conceiving of this, it was in the 70s.
That makes sense. That makes more sense.
Yeah. Glad we got to the bottom of that.
Yeah, Woody Allen, what a fucked up person that guy is.
I keep waiting.
It's a shame because he's his movies in the set, were great movies. He's just can't respect him. Sorry.
I keep waiting for. There was two like major projects that Kubrick never did, because the first one was about Napoleon, and he wanted to make just this massive.
We came up short with it.
No, like they did Waterloo. In the 70s, and it flopped really badly, and so he just shelved it. But he did like years and years and years of research on a movie or potential miniseries about Napoleon, and it got shelved. And I'm pretty sure that Steven Spielberg bought the rights to that.
Really?
And keeps saying that he's going to get that one developed at some point. And then the other one he did. But there was
a movie recently about Napoleon. I know I watched it on Apple TV.
It was on Apple.
Oh,
right, that one.
Yeah, it was on Apple TV.
Well, there's one with Joaquin Phoenix that came out.
Well,
he was Napoleon.
I think it was released on Apple. So
yeah.
It wasn't French enough for me.
He was too tall to play Napoleon.
You can't do Napoleon in a movie. You just can't. His life is too complex. And so you either needed to be all military movie.
I thought it was pretty good.
Or sex.
Or well, it's just one of those things where it was okay. I just felt it was okay.
I thought it was okay. I liked it.
I wanted it to be a rom-com.
A rom-com, yeah.
Yeah.
Why is my hand in my pocket? I don't know. That's not my pocket I'm holding on to.
I want more Mel Brooks with my Napoleon story telling. So, can I get that? Is there a movie coming out or supposedly coming out that's Mel Brooks but kind of Napoleon-ish?
Yeah, I would watch that
too.
Space. Okay, yeah, great. Yeah, that could work.
I don't know about that. I haven't seen Spaceballs since it came out.
I mean, if Rick Moranis is in it, he needs to be like the emperor at this point.
Right.
Yeah, he's up there. He hasn't. When was the last time he did a movie?
A long time ago. Yeah, he retired when his wife died.
He didn't come out of retirement for the Ghostbusters, but he's going to do.
He considered it though. I think he's ready to come out.
Because they shouldn't be doing all these Ghostbuster movies.
Well, he said that the role they offered him in the Ghostbusters was so small that he didn't seem relevant, and that's why he didn't. But I imagine Mel Brooks has offered him a pretty big role for this, right. And so he's like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, no, I could see that because I mean, yeah, if you're just, I mean, the way that they did Wedge dirty.
Rise so Skywalker.
Bad. Like I don't even. I mean, we couldn't get him for Force Awakens, but here at the very end, you're just gonna give him 2 seconds, like, and then it's like you're like, who's that guy?
Yeah, throwing him a couple.
You're in the turn of the Falcon. Is it like you weren't a general? Like what the hell?
Right? Yeah, you're not like leading your own ship.
Right.
You know, like
you're still a private.
Come on, man. You're an X-wing rogue squadron leader.
Stay on target. Stay on target.
Just another 1 million reasons why that trilogy.
He had a bad stabilizer. He had to get out of the trench. Okay, Biggs died. Okay, that was his fault. You know, but at least Wedge got it.
Use the Force. Yeah, dumbass. Anyway.
Sorry, that was a segue.
Yeah.
Well, that's what like I sent. Jack, did you watch Andor at all?
I have not watched Andor yet.
No. Okay. Well, Andor as well as Rogue One kind of, because anything that you do before a movie, it kind of makes you change the way you look at Star Wars, the original Star Wars a little bit. And there's a meme that I sent to Chris and Matt where it's like, now after watching Andor and Rogue One, you'd really kind of go like, what the fuck? When all of a sudden Luke's like, you turned off your targeting computer. He's like, yeah, I got it. I'm just gonna ram this thing in here.
Yeah, this old guy got me convinced I can use the Force.
Well,
man.
Okay. To be fair, there were 2 other people that had attempts on the shaft.
The 2mm.
They couldn't suck it off. Yeah,
they couldn't suck off.
Two other guys couldn't shoot their little balls down that shaft. It took Luke, and so he's just like, look, I'm going to use the Force on this one. And they're like,
you know why Luke was able to do it? He's from San Diego.
Yeah.
Use the Force, Luke. Use the Force.
Probably.
Luckily, Luke didn't watch Bridge on the River Kwai. Because he never would have he never would have trusted Obi-Wan.
Yeah, you shouldn't trust him. Yeah.
After that, it's like, have you seen Bridge on the River Kwai?
Yeah.
I have, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I watch that like once a year. But
he goes more than Battlestar. I see.
It's just a movie. It's a movie.
But
let's be honest, he goes a little crazy, right?
Yeah, he does. The way he starts buying into it. Yeah.
Yeah, he starts to, what am I doing?
Well, he's basically got Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's in that sweat box for all the time.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, because it makes sense. They're doing it so they don't get executed. It's like, hey, we'll build this thing, we'll do this, but then, exactly, the sweat box and all of that. He just eventually just accepts like this is what we have to do. We're going to make it very British.
But also, he was in control.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he wanted. He was the leader of that bridge. And so, but in the end, he's being a dick. I'm like, hey, you're getting your people killed. What's his name? I forget the actor's name. He lied about his rank. What's his name, the actor? Come on, Matt Trees. I'm sure you've seen it.
Nope, he's never seen that movie. And he's gone, actually. He left us.
Matt Trees left us?
No.
Yeah, he's like, screw these guys. I'm out of here. It's getting too late.
I'm looking it up.
Okay, you look it up. While you look it up, I'm going to thank our patrons.
Well, we're not leaving until I find out who the actor was.
It's too late.
No.
We're wrapping it up. I will say this while you look that
William
up.
Holden.
Oh yeah, William Holden. Yeah.
Remember, William Holden gets killed because he comes back,
and
because stupid.
Stupid. Hey, stupid. Hey, stupid.
What have I done? What have I done? Oh no, what have I done?
So anyway, enough of Jack's story. Just obsessing over here on the bridge over the River Kwai. So
it's a fantastic movie. It's a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, of course, you young kids are like, oh, "There's no action in it."
I have seen it. I have been I'm aware of it. I've seen it, watched it. I don't.
But
watch
again,
it every year.
You agree with me? If he had seen Bridge on the River Kwai, would he have trust Obi-Wan Kenobi? I'm thinking no.
I think we have to bring into a lot of questions about the Star Wars universe, which
I'd be like, hey, fuck you, old man.
Speaking of Star Wars,
you are crazy.
That just makes me think of Extras, the show that Ricky Gervais did.
Yeah.
When he meets Ian McKellen, he's like, "Hey, hi, Sir McKellen." Like, big fan. He's like, "You know that I am not Gandalf." he's like, yeah. He goes, and I had to explain this to Mr. Jackson that I am not a wizard. So what I did was I pretended to be a wizard. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's what I'm picturing. Mark Hamill. He meets him going like, you realize that it wasn't me that blew up the bridge.
Well, he should have blown up the bridge. In the end, he did it right, but he got everybody killed because he's like pulling up the cable, and William Holmes like,
there's other jobs. Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing, dumbass?
Right.
What the fuck? Because if they redid the movie, it'd have to be more, more modern. I would have shot. I would have shot Obi-Wan in Bridge on the River Kwai.
Yeah.
He's not Obi-Wan on the bridge over the river. That is a different
obviously
character.
He's not, because he didn't use the Force. Dumbass.
Okay. What? I'm the dumbass?
No, not you're the dumbass. Obi-Wan.
You don't want to blow up the bridge.
Yeah. What? I built this bridge. Why are we going to blow it up? Luke, don't blow up the bridge. Don't use the Force.
Matt, have you ever seen those outtakes of Frighteners of Michael J. Fox? So have you ever seen Frighteners?
A long time, maybe on rental when it first came out, but I didn't see outtakes.
It's kind of like The Sixth Sense before The Sixth Sense, and that he's a guy that died when he was younger, and he can see dead people, and it's kind of his job.
Michael J. Fox?
Yeah, Michael J. Fox. Yeah. It's like 94-ish, somewhere in there.
It's a movie?
Yeah,
it's Frighteners? Are you sure that it's like 94?
It could be like it's somewhere in the mid 90s. Yeah.
What's it called?
Frighteners.
Get your Frighteners. Oh, 96. Okay.
96, yeah. I think it was somewhere in the mid 90s, yeah. Because that's like the last movie he did before he took on Spin City or whatever.
Spin City, okay.
Yeah, here I'll share the image here. So Frighteners, yeah.
The
Frighteners.
Frighteners.
So alphabetically, it's still under F.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
It's okay. It's I think Peter Jackson did that film actually.
You're right. Peter Jackson directed it.
Mm-hmm. It looks like my house.
Written by Fran Walsh and Peter Jackson. Stars.
Well, that's Michael J. Fox there. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Peter Dobson and Trini Alvarado. Yeah. So. Anyway, a lot of take on ghosts.
Yeah, it's kind of Ghostbuster-esque as well as it's got elements of other films you've seen. It's not a bad film.
Matt Treese is still here,
and he brought some knowledge too.
Last thing he did before Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
But in a lot of the movie though, Michael J. Fox is driving a hearse or a car, getting away from like the bad ghost versus the good ghost, and but like there's a lot of outtakes where he is having to yell, and he'll just be like, "Doc, do you see this?" And he's like, "Cut!" And he's like, "Damn it, did I say it again?" He just kept saying "Doc" all the time.
I like the Back to the Future where they have the outtakes and they put real alcohol. When he's with his mom,
Yeah.
And he drinks it. He goes, and he realizes it's real alcohol. Cracks me up.
I was listening to when Norm died.
Yeah, I was sad.
There was a interview that I had never seen of him, and they were asking him about the beer in the show, and he said, "Well, he goes, it's not beer. He goes, it's what do we call it? He called it something else. Like, but he goes, it's a mix of like tea and apple juice, and it's all this mix of stuff." And he goes, it doesn't really taste all that good. He goes, but the first probably 2 or 3 seasons, because I was an actor and I'm at a bar, he goes, I would just drink the stuff, as if I'm sitting at a bar, and he goes, well, then you start to learn, like, if the camera's not on you, don't drink it.
Spit it out. Have when actors when they're eating food, they have a spit bucket.
If it's any kind of combination of apple and tea, then you're also going to have to pee a lot then too.
I don't like tea, so I couldn't have got the part.
Sure,
couldn't have done it. But I have been watching a lot of the cold openings of Cheers. Since Norm, since he died.
It's on your. It's
just the colds, and then you're moving on.
I just move on. The colds are probably some of the best parts of the show.
For everyone that doesn't watch us live and just listens to this, Jack is actually making the finger motion while he's talking about it. Like you're like doing that. You're just scrolling through, looking at all of the different.
The day before I recorded the sports one, I was watching. My wife was watching TikTok, and I was like watching it with her. I go, "God, this is irritating." She goes, "What?" I go, "You're the one that kill all the TikTok. You don't even know what they're saying." She was like, "I can tell by the way they look. I don't want to watch it." And I go, "But they're giving you stuff that you normally watch." I go, "That's what they're giving you." And she's just like going, she goes, "You don't have to watch it." I go, "Okay, you win." Anyway, and that's nothing worse to a TikTok channel when someone goes click right away because it hurts your algorithm.
Oh, I bet.
It hurts because that gets you knocked down. She'll do it with me. I've said before. Again. She'll go like this. She'll go. I go, "Was that mine?" She goes. I go, "I heard my voice." I go, "Really? You're just scrolling through?" I go, "You can't sit there for 30 seconds, watch mine, like it, and share it." I go, "You're killing me." Anyway, go ahead. I'm okay now.
So Matt's been trying to end this episode.
Yeah, I'm going to kill this show. I'm going to kill this show.
I'm sorry. I will not
because I've been drinking apple juice and tea.
I will not say. Oh, that's why you have to pee.
No.
I do. Cherry Coke Zero, our new sponsor.
I was going to make a segue and talk about Star Wars, but fuck it.
Now you got me curious.
Well, I spent part of my Father's Day today.
Is today Father's Day?
No, it's on Sunday.
Father's Day?
Oh, okay, I was going to say, like, shit.
It's on Sunday, but here's what we did for Mother's Day, is that on Mother's Day, Denise wanted me to drive her around to all of these different garden centers.
You call her Miss Daisy?
So that she could, well, the reason why I was driving her is because she also wanted to be slightly popped most of the day so that she could drunk shop at all of these garden centers. So
nice.
We started off with a nice breakfast, at one of our favorite restaurants, and she got little champagne, and we go to the garden centers. So that's how we spent her Mother's Day. But
can I ask a stupid question?
What's up?
How much alcohol is at these garden centers?
Well, actually, some of them do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We have a couple.
An Indiana thing.
They do, where you can buy and then you can kind of walk around the premise there with.
Really? Okay, go ahead. All right.
So anyway, not a lot of them do that, but a couple of the ones.
I gotta move to Indiana.
Yeah. So that's what we did for part of her Mother's Day, is we did that. Well, I said, well, I'd like to do something similar, but you're not gonna like what I want to do, which is go to comic book shops.
Oh.
And so I've been on a deep tear of getting like a lot of old Dark Horse comics and kind of filling in my Star Wars comic. I have all of the Marvel stuff, but there's a lot of Dark Horse stuff that was published but I just don't.
What's Dark Horse?
It's a comic book publisher. So you have Marvel, and then you have Dark Horse, and you have DC, and then there's also Image, is they
are there a lot of comic book shops in Indiana?
They're around, and we also have Half Price Books, which is a really great place. I can find a lot of good back issues there. So anyway, that's one of the things that I wanted to do, but it's on Sunday, and I was like, I don't want you waiting in the car for me. You're just gonna be like, okay.
She won't go in.
Well, she could come in. I don't care, but I also want to look through like stacks of comics.
And you're going to be taking your time, and she's going to get impatient.
Yeah. So I said, I want to do this today on Sunday, Father's Day proper. I'll get properly snookered, on some champagne at home while we play board games. Like it's kind of fun to get drunk and play board games with your kids, as long as you have food in your belly.
It's fucking cheating.
You never want to get to the point where you're
rip your hand off.
When you're hangry and drunk.
No, yeah.
And you're playing,
Yeah,
but it can be a way to be.
You didn't pass go. You don't get too fucking done.
So today, my daughter, it was really nice though. She went with me. She wanted to go, and we went to a lot of different shops.
Drunk?
No, I wasn't drunk. Okay. Yeah, no, the drinking is coming on Sunday. The Sunday is still for the drinking.
Preparing for the drinking. Okay, Sunday is drinking day.
Sunday is drinking day. I will be drinking, and then I'll be taking a proper nap, which is what happens after.
That's naps are great.
So, but I still wanted my shopping experience, so that's what my daughter did with me today. But it was really nice because in the middle of the day, after finding a lot of really cool Star Wars comic book finds, we had lunch. We just, I stopped at this one, restaurant up there at, it's called Napoli's. It's up at Keystone at the Crossing for those that live in the Indianapolis area. It was just really nice because,
Did your daughter go in the stores with you?
Yeah. She went in with me. Yeah. And she didn't mind, taking the time.
Did you say to your wife, you go, hey, daughter went in with me?
No, she knew that it was kind of more of like a father-daughter kind of thing. And that was just kind of nice because I sometimes as they grow older, you don't always have like those kind of moments. And it was kind of nice. Yeah. So then we stopped to eat lunch, and then it kind of hit me in a way, in a weird aging where it's just like, okay, she's 18 and I'm almost 50, and I'm looking at this old guy having, like there's another older gentleman than me, older than you, Jack, too.
Wow. That old, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Maybe he's the same age, but he
almost dead.
Maybe he's the same age as you, but you look younger than that guy.
Wow. That guy's in bad shape.
So he was having lunch with his daughter and granddaughter. And it was like, and it kind of hit me in that kind of way. I was like, oh, well, maybe they're out having like a father-daughter, thing for Father's Day too.
You're probably about 8 years away from grandkids, probably, right?
I don't want to think about that. I'm just to the point where I'm like accepting the fact that my daughter is 18 and we're out having a lunch together.
Right. I didn't mean to rush it. I'm sorry.
Anyway, that's my familial Father's Day story. It was really nice. I scored a bunch of cool comics. There's a comic that she's been reading, Absolute Wonder Woman, which is really like, even the comic book shop guys that I visit, they rave about it. Absolute Wonder Woman. It's a good story. It involves her sacrificing her arm. What's up?
They know you at these comic book stores?
No, some of the ones I went to today. There's one that I go to that they do know me, but the ones that I went to today are kind of on the west side and the north side, and I just don't get up that way. So it was kind of more of a exploratory, getting to kind of, and I found some new ones. I found one on the west side that I was like, oh, so Pride Land, which my daughter was slightly disappointed that it didn't have more to do with pride. She was like, I didn't think that there was a lot of pride stuff there. And I was like, I don't know why it was called Pride Land either, but the guy was really had a lot of comics, very reasonable. So if you're in the Indianapolis area,
it can mean different things, like because you can be, because like we have a couple of companies right here called Pride, but it's meant to be like Pride Lion, as in like Christ.
I kind of thought that. I kind of thought that it had another meaning there. So yeah.
I told you before, I have the first 3 editions of the Star Wars comics, 1, 2,
Yeah?
3, but it's not the valuable ones.
They're
like in mint condition.
They're all valuable.
Well, they're worth like $10.
Yeah, but they're all
no, they're not the $10,000 ones.
Sure.
Because Jay got me all hyped up one time, and I said, well, they're up in the attic. So I went up the attic. It's summertime. I'm dripping in sweat, and I go, I found them. They goes, oh no, it has the diamond or something. It had something that he goes, no, it needs to have the diamond or something. I go, you got me. I thought it was $30,000. I go,
again. It doesn't matter. A lot of those first and second and third issues, they hold their value. I would say the ones out of the original Star Wars line, the Boba Fett one, the Empire with Boba Fett, the Bounty Hunters on, the one that's the Empire Strikes Back with Boba Fett making his first appearance. Those are big fetchers. And then the last issue, the 108, that's another big one that a lot of people.
Well, I bought 2. It's funny because I bought 2 copies of them.
Yeah.
One I saved, and I never read it. I put it in the envelope in plastic, and the other ones I read, and then eventually gave whatever I did with them, gave them away. And those are probably the ones.
If the other ones are still in nice condition, they would still have value, and I think it would be a lot more than just $10 at this point because they're the OGs.
Yeah, I mean,
there might be
40-something years old.
Yeah, they're. I mean, and if they're in good condition, like I said, it doesn't matter if they're not the one that Jay's talking about. They're still.
I've looked on eBay, and they go for like $9-10.
Send them to me. I'll evaluate them.
I'll look it up and I'll show it on the next podcast.
Okay.
Podcast we do. I think they're up here in my closet. I don't think I put it back upstairs.
Well, anyway, sorry to bore everybody with that story, but it was a fun day to spend with my daughter. And
that's cool. It's always fun to spend time with your kids.
Yeah, kind of a nice, like, I mean, sure, the other, my son's great and all, but I spend time with him from time to time. So, but
he's kind of a turd.
I think he's going through a growing spurt because he's sleeping so much. He's on summer break, so it's like he sleeps in late. He eats. I think he's and he's been. We got a piano down here actually now, so he's been playing on that.
Oh, playing piano.
So, I see keyboard.
He's been keyboard. Yeah, sorry. So, but he's been noodling around on that.
Oh, that's good.
So, but well, I guess we'll end this thing. We're already at a minute 50. We should probably put in one more commercial break just to be sure. No,
Nick's been yawning the whole time.
Oh no, I gotta have Chris, to keep me awake.
This is what you don't understand about Nick taking notes. When Nick's not here, I'm just like, what the hell am I doing here?
Right.
Next week, I believe I'm out of the state. I'm going to be going on vacation. So if you know where I live, go ahead and rob me. But I have cameras, so don't steal them either. No, anyway, I won't be here next week. So, but if you guys record, it'll be.
Imagine
one in a million.
Somebody just rolls up to your house just to steal your security cameras. Like, you just see like a mask.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Matt.
No, but I'll be gone for next week. So we'll see what happens next week. But thanks for everyone that joined us live in the chat. Of course, Matt Trees bringing the knowledge, and Sherry, Randy still on a boycott. But if you want to send us, I
think he's still overseas.
Sure, he is.
I see pictures on Facebook.
Well, we miss you, Randy. Send us an email, drop us a line at rcadcast@gmail.com, and go over to jayandjack.com, become a patron member. Some patrons make this show possible. If it wasn't for them, we would be doing this, but not making any money. And I'd like to thank those that make this show possible, specifically Eckhart, Ed. I was trying to do it in alphabetical order this time. Joanne and Maggie. Sure, I could give you nicknames, but
I don't do that anymore.
So we need a 5th patron so I can do nicknames again. No, I'm just joking.
We used to have 6.
Maggie, you're magnificent. Joanne, you always have a master plan. Eckhart, apparently you're a Glatfelter. And Ed, I think you're a cool California letter carrier. Keep real.
Stay safe out there.
Yeah, stay safe out there. Anyway, thanks everyone. Tune in next time.
Yeah. See ya.